Can you believe it? Victor Osimhen could become a Manchester United player in a swap deal involving Marcus Rashford as early as next month in the winter transfer window. Welcome to the United Sport. My name is Webb, and yet again we are here to look into the transfer talk, speculations, and rumors concerning Manchester United. And of course, we only get to talk about those that are realistic. Now, this is what has come through. So, a credible journalist comes out and says that Napoli have offered Manchester United the opportunity to sign their one-tout striker Victor Osimhen, who is already out of the club, at least on loan, but of course still contracted to them as their player. And they have looked at options around, and they feel like the situation with Marcus Rashford could be an opportunity for them to get rid of Victor Osimhen in January, because that's something they want to do completely and get rid of him because they don't want to pay his wages. He earns a lot of money and they are still paying part of his wages even if he's playing for Galatasaray. So their view is that if they can get Marcus Rashford, and again, credible sources saying this, then it would make sense for them in January. And of course, we do know that there has been a good relationship between Napoli and Manchester United. The last window, we saw Scott McTominay joined them. He's enjoying life there. He's playing the football of his life, scoring goals for fun. I saw him in an interview talking about how he's learning how to speak Italian and he's enjoying everything for himself there. And you would think in a situation like this where Marcus Rashford certainly said himself he's ready for a new challenge and he wants to seek opportunities elsewhere. Napoli is certainly a club that he can logically join. And the fact that him, just like Scott McTominay, academy kids at Man United, they could have had a conversation about how life is like in Naples and and he must have seen videos of how Scott McTominay is celebrated like is the best thing to ever happen in football, and him going and reuniting with someone like him perhaps could offer a nice opportunity for him there. But also we do know that Napoli is that rather that Marcus Rashford is that kind of player who plays when he feels loved by the supporters. He shines off the love and passion from supporters. And the beauty is Antonio Conte has adjusted a bit in terms of his playing style at Napoli. He does not entirely always play back three. There are times where he plays with a system that clear 4-3-3, where he plays with a winger, and you clearly feel that Marcus Rashford can properly fit into that. So you have behind him Scott McTominay in the line, in the mid line behind. Then up top, we've got another former Man United player in Romelu Lukaku and Rashford on the left wing. I think that is what he would love to do if he's going to rejuvenate his career. So these reports do make a lot of sense. So it's coming out now that clearly Ruben, speaking in his pre-match press conference before the game against Wolves, clearly spoke about how it's his complete decision and it remains the same. He's still monitoring Marcus Rashford. He doesn't want to focus on the interview he did, but he just wants to focus on him and his performance. And if it's good, he'll put him back into the squad. And if he's not, he will still keep making the same decision for the best of the team, but also for the best of the player, because he feels Marcus Rashford is a big player and big players have got to turn up and give you big performances, which for me, I see no issues with. So the Marcus Rashford issue is continuing to evolve, to unfold. And the fact that now he's beginning to attract clubs as well, it's, I think, for me, a good thing. We do know, and this was confirmed by Fabrizio as well, that clubs in Saudi were the first to quickly come out and express their interest. Like you would expect. I don't think we all here sat down expecting that Marcus Rashford could fail to attract a club from Saudi if he came out and announced he wants to leave the way he did. So the situation is interesting. It's one that I think calls for a lot of attention. And perhaps if we judge by how Amorim spoke in his press conference and how everything is going, chances are that Rashford will still not be in the squad to take on Wolves because his mental state perhaps is not the best. And it's only a week or at most 6 or 7 days to the winter transfer window. Certainly, he could have played his last game for Man United. So, in terms of going back to, of course, the big story, of course, of the day of Victor Osimhen joining Man United, why this would be a great move for both parties. For first of all, for Osimhen himself, who is looking to play in the Premier League, stopping in Galatasaray was just to calm the pressure and ease the pressure off him and the tension between him and where he did not want to go, but also try to wait for a better team. Because that one season in Galatasaray, I think, was also for him to ease off the pressure and the media attention and all, but also try to attract a team, convince another team out there in Europe, a bigger team in Europe that perhaps felt that they were not properly convinced by his time at Napoli, but also who were not moved by the pressure and tension that was going on between him and the club, and perhaps just give him a calm slate so that they come for him when he's in a more different frame and state of mind. So it's for me, it was an important transition. That's what I'm trying to say. It was an important thing for Victor Osimhen to first go to a league like that of Galatasaray before joining a hot club in the Premier League. Is January the time he should be moving? I think if Osimhen does not move in January, of course it will be definitely because maybe it's expensive. But the reality is he certainly wants to move. Now, he knows that he doesn't belong to Galatasaray, not at his age. He doesn't belong to Galatasaray yet. He can belong there when he's in the evening of his time, but he doesn't belong there. So he knows that January or the summer, he has got to move as early as he can. As long as there is a good opportunity for him, Osimhen knows he should move and join the hot clubs. Now, in terms of contributing to Man United, that's where the questions would be, because one would ask that one would ask that how in the world is Victor Osimhen going to perform? How is he going to perform at Manchester United in this Ruben Amorim setup? How in the world is he going to perform in a Ruben Amorim setup where we do know that he wants to play with a target man, and you know that Osimhen loves to dash wide and go left, and he's that animated kind of striker, drop back in the middle. My view is, for me, that all that can change for a striker. Osimhen, and I'm not saying he's joining Man United, guys. I'm just saying that logically he would make sense that because he's a hard worker. For me, the one thing you need as a footballer to thrive in this Ruben Amorim setup is to be a hard worker. Whether you're a striker, whether you're a wide player, whether you're a midfielder or a defender, all you've got to do is work hard and be disciplined. My view is Victor Osimhen, by his nature, by his style of football, he's a hard worker. So it's definitely extremely possible for him to shine or to be molded into that disciplined player by Ruben Amorim. It's extremely possible for him to be molded into that patient number 9 by Ruben Amorim, because he has got every other attribute that he would need to work with, because he works hard, he heads the ball, he shoots, he puts defenders under a lot of pressure. He's an animated striker who would give him something different. So for me, there is no doubt about what he can, because it's a proper improvement, of course, on both Joshua Zirkzee and Rasmus Højlund, and the fact that they could get him without spending, because what would happen is probably because I think Napoli would use, because they have a number 9 in Romelu Lukaku, who Antonio Conte loves with his heart. So they'll probably just feel like it's a proper win-win situation for them. They maybe want Man United to add them a few pounds or thereabout, but I think for me that swap deal would be a logical move for all parties involved. For Napoli, they would get rid of a player who is a big earner, but they know his surplus requirements. There is not turning back. He's never going to go back and play for Napoli. Man United are losing Marcus Rashford to a team that needs him, but also to a respectable team where there is a former teammate with whom they grew up in the academy. Marcus Rashford himself is going to a respectable club where he will be loved, which will play a system that will sort of favor him, with a manager who will get the best out of him, because Antonio Conte is a top manager who should be able to manage a talent like Marcus Rashford. Rashford should respect him. We are talking Victor Osimhen, who certainly will have a big-time opportunity to revive himself with Manchester United and lead a resurgence of a club that had hitherto gone stale. Which African player wouldn't want to be a part of that? So I feel like for me that swap deal makes more sense than the swap deal involving the De Jong. That's what I feel. I feel like this would make sense for all parties, because again, for a move to happen, it should be one that makes sense for all parties, not some parties and not the others. So for me, it's extremely a positive one. My name is Webb. This is the United Sport. Of course, we'll come and talk more about this and what exactly is bound to happen in January. But for now, that's the latest transfer speculation concerning Man United. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Cheers.